Hi everyone, today we're going to talk about intermittent fasting, which is my favorite actually. It's my favorite tool to keep control of my insulin and keeping my blood sugar stable, and to train my mind to not go around and just be grazing and picking at things all day long. I think it's very sustainable. I think people can practice this on a daily basis all year round, no problems whatsoever. It's perfectly safe, and basically I think it's the perfect tool to stay healthy, give your body a chance to recover, giving your whole hormonal system a chance to stabilize and do what it's meant to be doing. I can't see any downsides to intermittent fasting at all. And I think we're actually built for intermittent fasting. And when I say intermittent fasting, I'm talking about anything from a 12, 14-hour fast up until maybe 3 days. Okay? So we're built to eat, and when we eat, we store fat. We store our carbohydrates if we're eating carbohydrate. And when we're not eating, we have a system where we just release our carbohydrates and the fat for energy. So it's just like we're putting things in, and then when we're not eating, we're taking them out. But nowadays, we're just putting things in, and we're just filling our cupboards with shit, basically, and it stays there. We go fat, and we go sick. Imagine a cupboard where you just put shit in. It's going to go moldy and dusty and all sort of things because no one's ever cleaning it out. It's pretty much the same thing with your body. Give your body a chance to get rid of that, and just cycling in and out all the time. That's how we're built to actually function, and that's when I think we're functioning best. So, in my opinion, there are two problems related to our eating that makes us fat and sick. So the first one is obviously what I'll be talking about a lot in the first week, and that is our food choices, the types of food that we're eating, and the types of food that are actually available everywhere, and the difficulty with getting hold of good quality food. You might not think about it, but it's really, really hard to find good quality. Even when it says on the label that it's supposed to be good, it's not necessarily so. And that is almost forcing us to go back in evolution and everyone start to produce their own food so that we actually know what's in it. And in my opinion, it should not be like that. But when there is money to make, people are going to be cheating, unfortunately. And I have seen this in the industry as well, and it drove me mad, and it drove me into not having the best relationship with my boss because I didn't feel like I was allowed to do my job. And they obviously thought that they were paying me for keeping quiet. So that wasn't a good job for me, and I'm happy I left. But I have very strong principles, and I don't want to be part of lying to anyone. I want transparency. When you pay for something, you want to know what it is that you get. And it is not so, I'm afraid. So the second one is how often we eat. We are taught to have breakfast and lunch and dinner. And that is not so bad. That's not too bad at all, if that was all. But the last 15, 20, maybe 30 years, the whole snack business has come into the picture, and they're promoting snacks for both adults and children. Some children might need it when they're very small because children don't eat huge portions and they do better when they eat more often. But really, they should actually wean off this when they're growing up, and we don't anymore. We just keep eating. So, breakfast, the most important meal of the day. Says who? The cereal companies, probably. I totally disagree. I have never felt as good as when I exercise on an empty stomach, when I'm totally fasted. My body is not busy digesting anything, and I can totally focus in on supplying my muscles with the blood and energy and the nutrients that they need when I'm exercising. So when you've just been eating, all the blood is going to be down in your stomach, and it's going to be transporting all the nutrients out in your bloodstream. So yes, they will be there, but your blood flow is centered in the abdominal area. And if you do that, you're not going to be able to lift very heavy weights or whatever you're doing, because you will not get a sufficient amount of blood flow to your muscles. So I find that training fasted, great. I've never felt as good as when I'm doing that, to be honest. So nowadays, I don't want to eat for several hours before I'm exercising. And there's absolutely no need to do that. It helps your body a lot as well if you're well fat adapted when you do that. So if you're eating a high carb diet and all of a sudden you just stop eating, you haven't eaten for 4 hours and you go to the gym, yeah, you might have a problem. Get used to it before you do that. And the term intermittent fasting, I just want to mention this. It's a little bit silly because we all do it. As soon as you're not eating, you're actually intermittently fasting. So every night, unless you're eating in your sleep, you are doing an intermittent fast. And I think this is a great way of making yourself becoming fat adapted. But I say a minimum of 12 hours, and I mean that is really the minimum I think that we should not be eating. Anywhere between 14, 16 hours, then we start talking about probably a good time period, a minimum time period for a non-eating window, if you like. And if you haven't been doing anything like that, if you've never gone any longer than 8 to 12 hours without food before, maybe not go straight to 16. Maybe start with 12, and then you go up 1 hour the next day if you felt okay, and you just slowly increase it. It's going to make it less painful for you, especially psychologically. But I would like you to suggest that you are aiming for at least 16 hours, and then you can mess around with that. Maybe you can do 24 hours, then you can do 36, etc., 48. Maybe you're working up to 3 days, and then you've been doing actually a real fast, almost. So that's, it's a bit fluid, but why we're talking about 3 days for a real fast is usually that's when you get the maximum benefits on the immune system, etc., and all those kind of things. If you're only interested in blood sugar control and maybe losing weight, intermittent fasting works really, really well. If you can have an eating window of 8 hours, and you can have 3 meals within 8 hours. That's not a problem. You don't have to cut the calories. You just need to let your system rest. That's all I want you to do. You can eat the same amount that you're normally eating over 10 to 12 hours maybe. You can eat that in a 6 to 8 hours eating window. No problem, and you're going to feel better. I would prefer if you pull it down to 2 meals. It's probably even better. Or if you want 1 meal, that's no problem either. If you can do 20 hours of fasting and an eating window of 4 hours, I think you are gold. That's where my sweet spot is. 20 hours is really where I feel the best, but everyone's different, so you'll have to play around with that a little bit. And many people are doing OMAD, 1 meal a day, which is brilliant. You can do that and just have a massive feast. I'm struggling to eat that much food, so I prefer actually to have 2 meals very close to each other, or that I'm having like a prolonged meal. So I'm having a meal with not dessert, but like maybe I have steak and garlic butter and something, and then after that I'm having some salami and cheese and just those kind of snacky foods, but as an extension of my dinner almost. And the mental aspect of having an eating window is so great, because it's really, really going to help you to get into this state of mind where, yes, I'm eating here, I'm not eating here. There's no debate going on in your head. It's not, you can eat at any time, during the day, whenever you like, so you never have to start arguing with yourself whether you should be having this, or whether you should be having that, or whether you should be snacking or not. No, you can snack within those 4 hours if you like. You have a 4-hour eating window, do whatever you like. But the other 20 hours, no food. It's brilliant. It really, really helps. So you get to train your mind to stick to these limits, and that is great. and you will be in charge of your brain, which we quite often aren't. We just follow orders, we think anyway. So it's really, really important when you want to get a handle on your cravings and your eating patterns. So that was all, and if you're enjoying these videos, please hit the like button, so give this video a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with anyone that you think might need it, which is pretty much everyone I know. Thank you very much, and I will speak to you again tomorrow. Bye.